Can landscaping actually increase your house's value? Heyo, homeowners, DIY, and professional landscapers and realtors. Today we're going to talk about curb appeal and how your landscaping, or the landscaping of the house that you are working on and trying to sell, might increase or decrease the value of your home. I believe that landscaping can most definitely increase the value of a home through curb appeal. Before we get started, I have a free gift for you as a way of saying thanks for joining me today. In the link below this video or in the QR code in the corner, you'll be able to access and download my free step-by-step guide to your landscape. It walks you through everything from design to installation and maintenance, even to the point of getting motivated to get out and work on your landscape or work on your yard and garden. So download that, print it off, and use it to save yourself time and money and headache when you're getting into your yard. I want you to have that, and let's get back to your house. How can you use landscaping to increase the curb appeal and potentially the sale value of your home? While landscaping might not increase the actual value of your home, it will increase its perceived value, and it will help the buyer potentially see themselves living in your home. Now, I'm not a realtor or a financial advisor, so this investment advice comes with a caveat and a disclaimer. But I believe as a professional that if your home has a neat and tidy landscape that frames the actual house and isn't overgrown or isn't too flashy and stealing the attention of the potential buyer from the actual asset itself, then it can help increase the value of the home through what the buyer is willing to pay or accept, rather than trying to haggle down on a house that looks like it might be haunted or like they're going to have to do a lot of work. That being said, if you are investing in landscape, you should remember that it should mostly be for your own enjoyment, because the next person who moves in might not like your gardening style. They might want a completely different look. They may see your landscaping as an asset, as something that they don't have to touch, but they might also see it as something that they're going to have to rip out entirely. If you have a nice, neat, tidy landscape, most people are going to see that as a benefit rather than a downside. So how I see this playing out is if I'm buying a home and it has a nice landscape, then I'm not going to want to haggle as much on the price. But if it looks overgrown, I'm going to be much less content on accepting the offer that they initially lay out, especially if I'm buying a project for myself in the future, and if there's HOA involved, making that more difficult on me and giving me more pressure in my life that I don't want as a buyer. So as a homeowner, here are some basic principles to keep in mind when considering what type of landscape to put in front of your home to increase its curb appeal. Put in landscapes that frame the house. You want to draw attention to the house, not to the landscape. Houses have a lot of straight edges and hard lines. Use landscaping to soften those lines. Use the landscape beds and the bed edges to add curves where there's only straight, hard edges. And use the foliage to cover up any unwanted blemishes or things on your house. Specifically utilities. If you hide the utilities, that does a world of good for the perceived value and the curb appeal of your house. House listings go up and down throughout the year, and depending on when you have your house listed and where you live in the country, your house might be in the middle of summer when all your flowers are blooming and your curb appeal is at peak of its condition. However, if it's in the winter and all your plants have no leaves and they're just sticks, it might look really messy. So for this reason, I would encourage some evergreens, especially next to the door. Your front door is something you want to frame really nicely, as people are going to be drawn up and through that space. And if a realtor is showing off a home, they're likely going to be going through the front door, leaving a good impression on a potential buyer. Another thing you can consider, depending on your house, there's often a gap between the ground and the siding. This is completely normal, and actually by law, landscapers can't cover that gap with mulch. There's supposed to be a little gap between the siding and the mulch. The reason for this is that it can cause a lot of trouble with your house siding as far as rot or other conditions and problems, but we won't get into that. The thing is that you want to hide that gap, and a great way to do that is with low evergreen foliage or with mid-range evergreen foliage, depending on your house and the house type. So again, we're covering up unsightly things, we're framing the house, and we're making it softer and making it more welcoming and inviting. It ought to be a living space where the potential buyer can see themselves living and not see themselves doing a lot of work. Another way you can increase the living space potential of your home is by planting trees. Trees create a living space. You don't want it to be overgrown, but you don't want it to be stark and bare. Consider that these trees are going to grow, so don't plant them too close to the house. All right, that's all from me today on how to increase your curb appeal with landscaping. I hope that you take this into consideration if you are considering selling your home or if you're considering buying a home. This might be helpful information for you as well. And if you're a realtor out there that's flipping homes, let me know in the comments below what you are finding, because this is just my theory as a consumer and a professional landscaper. But as such, if I were buying a home, this is what I would want. Soft, inviting living spaces full of plants and trees that are not going to cause me too much work in the future, but that are going to make the home look really nice. To the end of making your home look really nice, if you are working on your landscape, have plans to work on your landscape, or just wondering what are some good tips and principles, then I have a gift for you as a way of saying thanks for joining me today. In the link below this video or in the QR code on the side, you will find my step-by-step guide to your landscape, whether you are designing, installing, maintaining, or just needing inspiration to get out there and get in the yard. It's got all of those things, and I will be creating more content about this, so let me know what you want to hear about in the comments below, and I will do my best to share that information with you. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you in the next video.